Hi, I'm Peter Haddock, and I'm here in a field with lots of drone stuff with the Drone Academy. Jim, we've known each other for quite a long time, and I've brought not just myself here, but Lucas, my new apprentice, who's actually learning how to operate drones, as am I. So we've got some drones and some funny headgear, folks, because things are changing in the industry, but also what I understand now from knowing more about the Drone Academy is it's not just teaching people how to use drones, is it? There's way more to the business. But tell me, first of all, what on earth am I wearing on my head and why is that now significant?
Well, you've got the DJI Avata, you've got the goggles on, and this seems to be a really growing part of the industry where people are doing first-person view. So they look through the goggles and they fly them around. You see them an awful lot in social media. There's some infamous videos out there where people are going through tenpin bowling, through bars and things like that, all regulated, of course. But the shots that you get are absolutely amazing.
And of course, this is a special course, folks, which I think I might be having to come on because I've played with this today and it is awesome. But today I've also taken, 3 days course for learning how to actually operate drones in the different categories, but also a lot of the rules and regulations. And I've got to be honest, folks, it's complicated, isn't it?
Yeah, there's a lot to take in, but there's a good set of regulations out there that once you digest them, they're quite easy to understand with weight limits, distance to people, so that you can go out there, operate legally and safely.
I've heard a lot about that, but I've also heard a lot about certain things that we need to do. And these are the critical things that if we're not going to get fined £2,500 or if we're not going to get ourselves into trouble with the law as such, to make sure that people understand what to do. And some of those provisions are really important, aren't they? And that's a critical part of not just the training, but the consultancy arm of what you are as well, isn't it?
That's right. So we like to portray ourselves as a one-stop shop, so you can get anything from the training with us to the equipment. But as people develop in the industry and gain experience, they want to do more with the drone. And that's where we offer a consultancy service where you can fly closer to people, higher than a standard authorization allows you, and further than a standard authorization allows you, which means you can be more efficient with the equipment that you've got.
And folks, I've heard today about like £1,700 for a special license type thing, but if you get something wrong on the paperwork, you've got to put it in again and it's another 1,700 quid. That again is where you guys are coming in and saying, look, we can help you with this if you've got to do specific specialist stuff, isn't it?
That's right. If you're a Yorkshireman like me, you don't want to spend twice.
Of course.
So what we do is we offer a consultancy service, so we add value, and when that application goes through to the CAA, hopefully it gets through first time. And we can also advise on what is getting accepted at the moment and what isn't. It's an ever-changing regulation environment at the moment, so it's important that you speak to a consultant like us so you know what will get through and what potentially might not get through.
And today, folks, I was very, very lucky to try this because I've been looking at this first-person view stuff and I'm going and ahhing and say, do we go for it as a business? It's a big expense for me as a small business, but I've been able to try this today, and to be honest with you, I was blown away, and so was Lucas. He did the clever thing. He sat down, I was standing up, and it was a little bit shaky. But that again is all down to making sure you get the right hours in, and you're in an environment like this where you've got to look out for things that your team have pointed out to me, like overhead lines and trees and things like that, and be aware of your surroundings, haven't you?
Exactly, and that's the point with the Avata. If you can pick one up, you've got to understand that when you fly it, you should have someone doing your lookout for you.
Yeah.
Read the manual before you fly it, and certainly get some expert tuition on it so that you can fly it safely. You know how to use all the modes and get the most out of what is a neat little drone.
And there's loads of other cool stuff, folks, like apps out there that help us create our flight paths and stuff like that, and RAMs, which are really important, that I've discovered about how you can set up what you're doing. But fundamentally, if I wanted to try something like this, what I would recommend, folks, because, I wasn't too sure, Lucas certainly was, is actually renting something like this, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, because as businesses grow, you might add a new arm to the business that is not mainstream. It might be a one-off job. So that's where the hire comes in. So for example, for the bigger drones, you might have photogrammetry, but then if you want to progress to LiDAR,
Yep.
that's quite an expensive sensor. you may only need that once or twice in a 3-month period. So it may be more cost effective to rent it at first and then look at whether it's worth the return of investment to purchase it.
And of course, LiDAR folks, we're used to that with the stuff I do with surveyors, with Leica Geosystems, 3D models for machine control and things like that. So that is actually increasing in importance nowadays as well. So understanding that you guys can help by saying, look, you've got the drones as such to do that sort of thing, and the extra training that's required really actually is going to help us do not just the fun stuff, folks, with stuff like this and all my cool videos that we have, but also the really important stuff, which is getting people out of the danger zone and using technology like drones that come together with things like total stations and other forms of surveying to actually create the point clouds that allow us to do things better and more productively, isn't it?
And that's right. And what we want to do is for our clients to be able to produce a data set, merging all those together, that is usable by their end client, so that they know that it's accurate, it's timely as well, because it's a lot quicker to do the surveys with it. So we've got a deliverable there that people can use and trust.
So for me, folks, this is the future. We all know digitalization is out there. Drones are certainly changing the way I do things, but certainly they're changing the way the industry does things. And for me, there's two really important points here. Safety. If you know what you're doing, and we now know a lot more of the things we can be doing and even going bigger with our drones, then you are actually doing things safely and you've got the right procedures in place. That makes a difference to everybody on the job site and to people that may come into your drone flying zone by accident or even on purpose. But equally, once we've got all that safety information, then we can actually take people out of harm's way as well and let the drones do the work. But equally, at the same time, we can all be more productive and we can do things differently in construction and really accelerate change, which is always going to be more sustainable and carbon efficient. So time to get the goggles on, folks, and do one last whiz around with this. So great to see you. Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, Peter. Thank you.